Guru Charana Padma. Where is it? $28. Thanks. Okay. Shri Guru Charana Padma Kevala Bhakati Sarma Vandamu Isavadhana Mate Jara Prasade Bhai He Bhavatariya Jai Krishna Prapti Hai Jai Te Guru Mukha Padma Vakya Chitate Koriya Kya Arna Kori Ho Mane Asha Shri Guru Charane Rati Ese Utama Gati Jai Prasade Pure Sarvayasha Chakshudan Dilate Janme Janme Prabhu Se Divya Gyan Hriday Prakashita Prema Bhakti Jaha Hoite Avidya Vinasa Jate Vete Kaya Jahara Charita Jai Guru Karuna Sindhu Atama Janara Bandhu Lokanath Lokera Jivana Aha Prabhu Kara Daya Deho More Padachaya Duala Palinu Sharana Epe Jashku Shakti Bhuvana Jaya Guru Deva Jaya Guru Deva Guru Deva Jaya Guru Deva Jaya Guru Deva Jaya Guru Deva Guru Deva Jaya Guru Deva. Now page 23. Krishna Hoita Chaturmukha Hoya Krishna Sevan Mukha Brahma Hoita Narada Ramati Narada Hoita Vyasa Marvaka He Vyasa Dasa Paraparan Padmana Bhagati Nrehari Madhava Vamse Akshobhya Paramahamse Shisha Boli Angi Karakare Akshobhya Rashisha Jaya Tirtaname Parichaya Taradasya Jnana Sindhu Tare Tahaita Daya Nidhi Taradasa Vidya Nidhi Rajendra Hoilo Tahaite Tahara Kinkara Jaya Dharmam Name Parichaya Paramparam Janabalamate Jaya Dharma Dasya Kyati Shri Purushottamangati Tahaite Brahmanya Tirtha Suri Vyasatir Tatara Dasa Lakshmi Pati Vyasa Dasa Tahaite Maravendra Puri Madhavendra Puri Vara Shishyam Vara Shriyeshwara Nityananda Shri Advaita Vibhu Shishwara Puri Kedhanya Gorilana Shri Chaitanya Jagat Guru Gora Mahaprabhu Mahaprabhu Shri Chaitanya Radha Krishna Heyanya Rupanuga Jana Rajivana Vishwambhara Priyankara Shri Swarupa Damodara Shri Goswami Rupa Sanatana Rupa Priya Mahajana Jiva Raghunathana Dara Priya Kavi Krishna Dasa Krishna Dasa Priyamvara Narottama Seva Para Jarapara Vishwanatha Hasha Vishwanatha Bhakta Shata Baladeva Jaganata Dara Priya Shri Bhakti Vinoda Mahabhagavata Vara Shri Gaura Kishora Vara Hare Bhajanete Jaramoda Shiva Shabana Vivara Shara Seva Seva Para Tahara Daita Dasanama Prabhu Parantaranga Shri Swarupa Rupanuga Shri Kashava Bhakti Pragyana Gauriya Vedanta Veda Maya Vadata Mohanta Guravani Prachara Chardhama Pracharila Gauravani Bhakti Vedanta Swami Puraila Prabhu Parakama Kesha Priya Mahajana Hana Gauravani Tare Pranadhana Esava Harijana Gaurangera Nija Jana Tadara Chista Morakama Tadara Chista Morakama Guru Paramparam Guru Paramparam Paramparam Guru Paramparam Guru Paramparam Guru Paramparam Paramparam Guru Paramparam. Page 36. Vrindavanavasi Jato Vaishnavera Gana Pratame Vandana Kore Sabaracharana Nilachalavasi Jato Mahaprabhu Gana Bhumite Padiya Vando Sabharacharana Navadvipavasi Jato Mahaprabhur Bhakta Sabharacharana Vando Hoyanurakta Mahaprabhur Bhakta Jato Guradeshastite Sabharacharana Vando Koriya Pranati Jadashe Jadashe Paise Gaurangera Gara Urvabahu Kari Vando Sabaracharana Hoya Chena Hoy Bena Prabhu Jata Dasa Sabaracharana Vando Tanta Karigasha Brahmana Tarita Shakti Dhare Jane Jane Eveda Purane Guna Gaya Deva Sune Mahaprabhu Gana Sata Patita Pavana Dailabhe Mui Papilo Inucharana Vandana Karite Mui Katta Shakti Dhari Dama Bhudi Dashe Mui Damba Matra Kari Tatapi mukara bhagyamana lahasha Dashakshami modhame karani jadasa Sarvavancha siddhihaya yama bandha chute Jagata durlabha hoya pramadana Manera vasana puna Achirate haya Devaki nandana dasa Elahave kaya Jaya Vaishnav Thakur Jaya Vaishnav Thakur Vaishnav Thakur Jaya Vaishnav Thakur Jaya Vaishnav Thakur Jaya Vaishnav Thakur Vaishnav Thakur Jaya Vaishnav Thakur गौरांग बोलते हवे 86 गौरांग बोलते हवे फूलका शरीरा हरि हरि बोलते ना yane babenira araka benita chader karuna hoibe samsara vasana mora kabe tu chahabe vishaya chadiya kabe Shudha habe mana kabe hamahera bosh Shri Vrindavana Rupa Raghunatha Pade Hoive Akuti Kabe hama puja bose Jugala piriti Rupa Raghunatha Pade Rahu more asha Pradhana karo yasada Narottama dasa Gauranga bolite habe Pulaka sharira Hari Hari politena Yane bhabenira Jaya Nita Jaya Go Jaya Nita Jaya Go Jaya Nita Jaya Go Jaya Nita Jaya Go Jaya Gauranita Jaya Gauranita Gauranita Jaya Gauranita Page 200 Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasari Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Jivedaya Kari Swaparshara Sviya Dhama Savatari Atyanta Dulabha Prema Kariparadana Shikhaya Sharanagati Bhakatera Prana Danyatnedana Gavdipdevarana Bhavasya Rakshibe Krishna Vishwasya Palana Bhakti Anukula Matra Karyara Svikara Bhakti Pratikula Bhava Varjanangikara Sharanga Sharanagati Hoibe Jahara Tara Pradana Shune Srinanda Kumara Ruparanatana Pade Dantatrina Kori Bhakati Vinora Pade Dupadadhori Kadiya Kadiya Bale Amita Adhama Shikhaya Sharanagati Harahe Uttam Jaya Swapashara Jaya Gaurahari Swapashara Jaya Gaurahari Jaya Gaurahari Swapashara Jaya Gaurahari. Okay, then we do Krishna. Oh, yeah. Namami Nandanandanam, Namami Nandanandanam, Namami Nandanandanam, Namami Nandanandanam, Sucharu Bhaktamandalam, Sukarnaratna Kundalam, Suchachitanga Chandanam, Namami Nandanandanam, Sutirkhanetra Pankajam Shikhe Shikandamurthajam Anangakoti Mohanam Namami Nandanandan Sunasika Gramoktikam Suranjan Tapaktikam Navabudanga Chanktanam Namami Nandanandan Karena Venuranjitam Gati Karendra Kanjitam Dakula Peta Shobhanam Namami Nandanandanam Tribhanga Deha Sundaram Nakadyuti Shudhakaram Amulya Ratna Bhushanam Namami Nandanandan Sukhandaranga Surupam Muro Virajikostubam Surakshivrat Sulanchanam Namami Nandanandanam Vrindavana Sunagaram Vilasanukulasasam Surendagarbhamochanam Namami Nandanandanam Prajanganasayakam Sada Sukha Pradayakam Jagamana Pralobhanam Namami Nandanandan Shinandananda Ashtakam Patedya Shridhayavita Tared Bhava Dushtaram Lavetarangrejugmaka Namami Nandanandanam Namami Nandanandanam Namami Nandanandan Munindra Vrindavandite Triloka Shokaharini Prashana Vaktra Pankaje Nikunja Bhuvilasini Vrajendra Bhanu Nandini Vrajendra Shunu Sangate Kadakarisya Sihamam Kripakataksha Bhajanam अशोषवृक्षवल्लरी वितानमण्डपस्थिते प्रवल्लवल्लपल्लव प्रभुरुणाघ्रिकोमले वराभयस्फुरत्करे प्रभूतसम्पदालये कदा करिष्यसि मम कृपाकटाक्षभाजनम् अनङ्गरङ्गमङ्गलप्रसङ्गभङ्गुराभ्रुवं सविभ्रमं सुसम्भ्रमं त्रिघन्तवर्णपतने निरन्तरं वशीकृता प्रतीते नन्दनन्दन कदा करिष्यसि मम कृपाकटाक्षभाजनम् तदित्सुवर्णचम्पकप्रदीप्तकौरवेग्रहे मुखप्रभापराष्टकोटिशरदिन्दुमण्डले विचित्रचित्रसञ्चरचकोरसावलोचने कदा करिष्यसि मम कृपाकटाक्षभाजनम् मदातियौवने प्रमोदमानमण्डिते प्रियानुरागरञ्जिते कलाविलासपण्डिते अनन्यधन्यकुजराजकामकेलिकोविदे कदा करिष्यसि मम कृपाकटाक्षभाजनम् अशेषहावभावधीरहीरहारभूषिते प्रभूतशतकुम्भकुम्भकुम्भिकुम्भशुष्टन् प्रशस्तमन्दहस्य चूर्णपूर्णसौख्यसागरे कदा करिष्यसि मम कृपाकटाक्षभाजनम् मृणालवल्लवल्लरितरङ्गरङ्गदोलते लताग्रलास्यलोलनीललोचनावलोकने ललल्लुलन्मिलन्मलौघ्यमुग्धमोहनाश्रिते कदा करिष्यसि मम कृपाकटाक्षभाजनम् सुवर्णमलिकञ्चितत्रिरेककम्भुखण्डगे त्रिसूत्रमङ्गले गुणात्रिरत्नदीप्तिदीर्हिते सलोलनीलकुन्तला प्रसूनगुच्छकुम्भिते कदा करिष्यसि मम कृपाकटाक्षभाजनम् नितम्बबिम्बलम्बमानपुष्पमेकलगुणे प्रशस्तरत्नकिङ्किणी कलापमध्यमञ्जुले करिन्द्रसुन्दरदण्डिकावरोहसौभगोरुके कदा करिष्यसि मम कृपाकटाक्षभाजनम् अनेकमन्त्रनादमञ्जुनुपुरारवक्षलत् जराजहंसवंशनिघ्वनातिगौरवे विलोलहिमवल्लरी विदम्बिचारुचङ्क्रमे कदा करिष्यसि मम कृपाकटाक्षभाजनम् अनन्तकोटिविष्णुलोकनम्रपद्मचर्चिते हिमाद्रिजापुलोमजा विरिञ्चजावराप्रदे अपरसिद्धिरिदिग्धसत्पदाङ्गुलीनके कदा करिष्यसि मम कृपाकटाक्षभाजनम् मखेश्वरी क्रियेश्वरी स्वरेश्वरी सुरेश्वरी त्रिवेरभारतीश्वरी प्रमादशासनेश्वरी रमेश्वरी क्षमेश्वरी प्रमोदकाननेश्वरी व्रजेश्वरी व्रजाधिपे शिराधिके नमोऽस्तुते इति ममद्भुतं स्तवं निशम्य भानुनन्दिनी करोतु सततं जनं कृपाकटाक्षभाजनम् Pavettadaiva sanchita trirupakarmanashanam Pavettara vrajendra shunu mandala praveshanam Kadakare sasihamam Ripakatakshabhajanam Jaya Radhe, Jaya Radhe, Jaya Radhe, Jaya Shri Radhe. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Nitai Gaura Haribo, 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 Nitai Gaura Haribo. Jaya Jaya Gurudev, 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 Jaya Jaya Gurudev. Jai Gurudev. Gaur Pramanande.
Kaya Tvadalaye Krishnaya Krishna Bhaktaya Tadabhaktaya Namo Nama Yang Pravrjantam Manupetam Apeta Krityam Dvaipayano Virahaka Taruva Juhava Putreti Tanmayataya Taravo Banedos Tang Sarvapu Hridayam Muni Manatosmi Bhaktya Vihina Aparada Lakshay Chaptasya Kamadi Tarangamadye Kripamai Tvang Sharanam Prapadyam Brinde Namaste Charanaravindam Tavoy Vasmi Najivami Tambina Iti Vigyaya Radhe Tam Nayamam Charanantike Kripayati Yadi Radha Padita Sheshabadha Kema Param Vishishta Pushti Maryadi Yorme Yadi Vadati Chakinshit Smeira Sodita Sir Dvijavaramani Panktya Mukti Shuktya Tadakim Shama Sundara Sakanda Sheka Smeraha Samurali Manoha Radhika Rasikamam Kripaniti Swapriya Charana Kinkari Kuru Prananatha Vrishabhanu Nandini Srimakabja Rasalola Satapada Radhika Paratale Kritistiti Tvambajame Rasikendra Shekhar Samvedaya Dashane Tridambibo Prardaye Brajamahendra Nandan Astu Mohan Tavati Balaba Janma Janmane Mariswari Priya. First I offer my unlimited obeisances in the dust of the lotus feet of my most worshipful Diksha Gurudev, Nityalila Pravishta Om Vishnupad, Astor to the Sat Shishimad, Srila Bhakti Vedanta Swami Prabhupada, and the same unlimited obeisances in the dust of the lotus feet of my most worshipful Shiksha Gurudev, Nityalila Pravishta Om Vishnupad, Astor to the Sat Shishimad, Srila Bhakti Vedanta Narayan Goswami Maharaj. Srila Bhakti began Bharati Goswami Maharaj. To our Param Gurudev, Srila Bhakti Pragyan Keshava Goswami Maharaj and Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur Prabhupada. To all of his divine associates and to all the assembled devotees and the assembled devotees, Diksha Gurus who are my Shiksha Gurus, Shishimad Bhakti Vedanta Madhav Maharaj, Shishimad Bhakti Vedanta Ban Maharaj, and Shishimad Bhakti Vedanta Siddhanti Maharaj. So we've had many days of beautiful holidays, appearance days, disappearance days, and we've been, for the last 3 years, we've been trying to go through, you say, or study the whole Srimad Bhagavatam. And because we have so many holidays, including now soon, Navadvip Parikrama is coming up. So it's taking us a long time. We're on the 5th canto now. And now we began the description of Jambudweep. I think because we did several verses, but I think because we have almost a completely different audience now, as people always come and go, we're going to start from the beginning of this chapter. So, you go to school and you learn that Earth is the only inhabited planet, and it's shaped like a ball, and people at the bottom of the ball, they don't fall off even though they're upside down because of the law of gravity, and no other planet is inhabited, and the moon is our moon, and it goes around the Earth, and the sun is further, and it's bigger, and it also goes around us. So, unfortunately for us, we've been getting all the wrong information from our teachers and parents and schools and books and all that. So finally we get to understand what the universe is like. It's called Vedic cosmology. And here we go. Just if you don't know one thing, a yojana, it's going to talk a lot about yojanas. A yojana is 8 miles. So when it says something is 84,000 yojanas, it means it's 84,000 times 8 miles. And what else do we want to know? Just like basically some crazy things we've been learning in school, which now we learn differently, is that the moon is not our moon. The moon is actually further away from the sun, and it's bigger than the sun. And there's more advanced life there, and similarly with the sun and other planets, than there is on the Earth. And also that there are hellish planets, where people who are suffering more than us live and get punished. All right, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to read the summary first, so you get a flow of the whole chapter. While describing the character, now the last chapter is called the character of the descendants of King Priyavrata, and before that we learned about Priyavrata, great kings, and their great activities. So while describing the character of Maharaj Priyavrata and his descendants, Sukadeva Goswami also described Meru mountain and the planetary system known as Bhumandal. So this is really what the Earth looks like. The scientists might say, well, we have so many telescopes. Just like we have microscopes, we also have telescopes that show us the shape and size and whereabouts of different planets. But Srila Prabhupada said the scientists can't even see their own eyelids, which is the closest thing to them, or through a piece of paper. So whatever they do is all speculation. So Sukadeva Goswami also described Meru mountain and the planetary system known as Bhumandal. Bhumandal is like a lotus flower, and its 7 islands are compared to the whirl of the lotus. The place known as Jambudweep is in the middle, it's where we live, is in the middle of the whirl. In Jambudweep, there is a mountain known as Sumeru, which is made of solid gold. It doesn't mean that the trees and people there are made of solid gold. It means that whatever is rock or sand is made of gold. The height of the mountain is 84,000 yojanas. So that means 84,000 miles times 10, of which 16,000 yojanas are below the earth. Its width is estimated at 32,000 yojanas. At its summit means the top, and 16,000 yojanas at its foot. That means that it's like an upside down mountain, or like an ice cream cone. This king of mountains, Sumeru, is the support of the planet Earth. On the southern side of the land, known as Ilavati Varsha, which also was the previous name of the earth, are the mountains known as Himavan, Hemakuta, and Nishada. I know you don't know anything, it's just names, mountains, names. And it'll be hard to picture. But try to picture, that'll help you remember. And interestingly enough, fortunately enough, just by hearing this, we make advancement. So that one day we can realize all this and the spiritual world as well. On the northern side of the mountains are the mountains Nil, Sweta, and Shringa. Similarly, on the eastern and western side, there are the Malavan and Gandhamadana, two large mountains. There are a lot of interesting, the whole thing is interesting, but our sense perception may not find it so interesting. But there are a lot of things that even are interesting to our senses. Like some trees have mangoes as big as what? As big as, Huh? At least as big as basketballs. And you can see how scientific this is. And if we think, stuff is boring, then we want to take note of who is speaking. Who is speaking is Sukadeva Goswami, who's Radharani's parrot. So there are four other mountains known as Mandara, Meru Mandara, Suparsva, and Kumada, each 10,000 miles long and 10,000 yojanas. That means 80,000 miles long and 80,000 miles high. On these four mountains there are trees that are 8,800 miles high, a tree. On these four mountains there are a mango tree, a rose apple tree, a kadamba tree, and a banyan tree. There are also lakes, this is interesting, full of milk, honey, sugarcane juice, if you try to picture that, sugarcane juice, and pure water. These lakes can fulfill all desires. That's another interesting thing about it. There are also gardens named Nandana, Chitrarata, Bhaibrakshaka, and Sarvatobhadra. On the side of Suparsva mountain is a kadamba tree with streams of honey flowing from its hollows. And on Kamuda mountain there is a banyan tree named Satavalsa, from whose roots flow rivers containing milk, yogurt, and many other desirable things. Surrounding Sumeru mountain, like filaments of the whorl of the lotus, are 20 mountain ranges, such as Kuranga, Kurara, Kusumba, Vaikanka, and Trikuta. To the east of Sumera are the mountains Jatara and Devakuta. To the west are Pavana and Pariyatra. To the south are Kailash and Kadavira. And to the north are Trishanga and Makara. These 8 mountains are about 18,000 yojanas long, 2,000 yojanas wide, and 2,000 yojanas high. Everything is so scientific. Everything we learn in this world with our education is all speculation. On the summit of Mount Sumeru is Brahmapuri, which is the residence of Lord Brahma. Each of its 4 sides is 80,000 miles long. Surrounding Brahmapuri are the cities. So there's cities up there. One is the city of King Indra. So it's a heavenly abode. And 7 other demigods. These cities are 1/4 the size of Brahmapuri. So that was just the summary. So now King Parikshit, who's King Parikshit? He used to sit on Krishna's lap when he's a baby. And when he was in the womb of his mother, one demon shot a weapon right into the womb of his mother, Uttara. And, when people do bombs now, there's no control. It can kill a whole city or a half a state, like in Hiroshima. And but these weapons, which are much more powerful than atom bombs, also can just go right into the womb and not hurt anything else. So the weapon was going to kill Parikshit Maharaj in the womb of his mother, and then Krishna came and appeared in the womb and destroyed the weapon. So that's who Maharaj Parikshit is. Plus, he's a gopi in Goloka Vrindavan. And he was hearing this very Srimad Bhagavatam from Sukadeva Goswami, who's Radharani's parrot. So if it's good enough for them, it's good enough for us. So King Parikshit said to Sukadeva Goswami, "O Brahmana, you have already informed me that the radius of Bhumandala extends as far as the sun spreads its light and heat, and as far as the moon and all the stars can be seen. O my Lord, dear Lord, the rolling wheels of Maharaj Priyavrata's chariot created 7 ditches in which the 7 oceans came into existence." So these kings were not ordinary dumb kings, very powerful kings, who really did good for the people and the world and the universe. These days, you can't help it. As soon as you press Chrome or internet, you see all these pictures of the big leaders of today with their gray hair, just like old fuddy-duddies fighting for power and with their big false egos. But now we see real kings. Because of these oceans, Bhumandala is divided into 7 islands. You have given a very general description of their measurement, names and characteristics. Now I wish to know them in detail, so kindly fulfill my desire. When the mind is fixed on the Supreme Lord in his external feature made of the material modes of nature, which is the gross universal form, where like the sun is one eye, the moon is an eye, the oceans are in his stomach, the demigods are on his arms. It is brought to the platform of pure goodness. In that transcendental position, one can understand the Supreme Lord, Vasudeva, who, in his subtler form, is self-effulgent and beyond the modes of nature. So Krishna has a material form too, which is the universal form, or it's called Virat, means universal, Rupa form. O my Lord, please describe vividly how that form which covers the entire universe is perceived. The great Rishi Sukadeva Goswami said, this is the same Sukadeva Goswami who sits on Sri Radha's hand and she feeds him pomegranates and rice and milk. And who can imitate her voice and call out Krishna, Krishna. Krishna, Krishna. The great Rishi Sukadeva Goswami said, my dear king, there is no limit to the expansion of the Supreme Lord's material energy. This material world is a transformation of the material qualities, goodness, passion, and ignorance. Yet, no one could possibly explain it perfectly, even in a lifetime as long as that of Brahma, even the material world. No one in the material world is perfect, and an imperfect person could not describe this material universe accurately, even after continued speculation. O King, I shall nevertheless try to explain to you the principal regions, such as Bhuloka, with their names, forms, measurements, and various symptoms. The planetary system known as Bhumandala, plus we also learn, or falsely learn, that there's only one universe. And in the Vedic cosmology we learn there are innumerable universes. And there's a sun in each one of them. The planetary system known as Bhumandala resembles a lotus flower. Can you picture that? A lotus flower. And its 7 islands resemble the whirl of the lotus. The length and breadth of the island, known as Jambudweep, which is situated in the middle of the whirl, are 8 million miles. Jambudweep is round like a leaf of a lotus flower. In Jambudweep, there are 9 divisions of land, each with a length of 72,000 miles. There are 8 mountains that mark the boundaries of different divisions and separate them nicely. We're reading from the 5th canto, Tarun Prabhu, the description of Jambudweep. Amidst these divisions, or varshas, is the varsha named Ilavrita, which is situated in the middle of the whirl of the lotus. Within Ilavriti Varsha is Sumeru mountain, which Sukadeva Goswami already described as 32,000 miles on the top, or 32,000 yojanas, which means 32,000 times 8, and 16,000 yojanas on the bottom, and it grows through the middle of the earth. Did you ever see it? So, and it's made of gold. Sumeru mountain is like the pericarp of the lotus-like Bhumandala planetary system. What's a pericarp? Like, okay, there's the lotus with its petals, and there's that round thing in the middle. And what's the whirl of the lotus? Is that the whole lotus? the whorl of the lotus, and then the pericarp. Okay. The mountain's height is the same as the width of Jambudweep, or in other words, 100,000 yojanas, or 800,000 miles. Of that, 16,000 yojanas, or 128,000 miles, are within the earth, and therefore the mountain's height above the earth is 672,000 miles. The mountain's width is 256,000 miles, and its summit is 16,000 yojanas at its base. So really, it tells us that we don't know anything, we're not seeing anything. What are we seeing sights of, Haridas? Blindness, good. You are all the Haridasas. Just north of Ilavarti Varsha, and going further northward, one after another, are three mountains named Nil, Sweta, and Sringaban. These mark the borders of the three Varshas, named Ramyaka, Hiranmaya, and Kuru, and separate them from one another. So many technical things here. Any paintings? Well, there is a painting of Sumeru Mountain, because I believe it's the 8th canto that the demons were trying to carry Mount Sumeru. And so we did a painting of that. I'm just trying to see if it's in this volume. And at that time we asked Prabhupada if everything is made of gold, and he said no, just what we consider stone here. Like, there are photographs, not photographs, but there are several charts of the universe. So the book is already here. You're welcome to take a look. And here's another one. Like this one tells the did you guys see it? Like it tells where where Jambudweep is, which we have the saltwater ocean. Then there's many islands, but the islands are shaped like, you could, if you want to have a fun read, the 1975 chapter of the ASL, my memoir of my experiences with Srila Prabhupada. I describe it more simply than here, and in order for me to get a picture of it, I describe it like a donut. Like you have a donut, and then water, and a donut. Like it's a donut within a donut within a donut. And in between each land is water. So as we can see in this chart here, there's Jambudweep, where we live. And then there's, around that, there's a saltwater ocean. Then there's another island called Plakshadweep, and around that is a sugarcane ocean. And then there's another mass, and there's people living in all of them, advanced people. And then there's Salamidweep, and then there's an ocean of liquor. And then there's Kushadweep, where is an ocean of ghee. And then there's Kranchadweep, where is an ocean of milk. And then there's Sakadweep, which is an ocean of yogurt. And then there's Puskaradweep, and that is the ocean of clean water, clean, pure water. Yeah, it's a lot of things that we don't know. And then there are hellish planets also. And this particular picture tells what happens if you do what. Like, if a Brahmin has illicit sex, then he has to go to a planet where the Yamadutas whip him as he's forced to embrace a molten hot iron woman or man. And then the next one, if a Brahmana drinks liquor, then he has to go to a planet where the Yamadutas force him to drink hot molten iron. Means liquid, boiling. And then there's another one, as if someone is so proud of his wealth, then he can go to a planet where the Yamadutas sow him, S-E-W, sow him, lengthen breath. I just want to make sure about the third one because he's wearing a lot. Oh yeah, here it is. One who in this world or in this life is very proud of his wealth and always thinks, I am so rich. Who is equal to me? His vision is twisted and he's always afraid that someone will take his wealth. Indeed, he even suspects his superiors. His face and heart dry up at the thought of losing his wealth, and therefore he always looks like a wretched fiend. And then he goes to that hellish planet. So he can never be happy because he's always afraid of losing. They stitch thread through his entire body like weavers manufacturing cloth. In fact, there's a whole chapter called The Hellish Planets coming right up in the 5th canto. All right, yes.
Sometimes people have asked me, like, if God loves us so much, then why does He create such these crazy hellish realms to bring us back to Him in some way?
Yeah, like why would a parent slap his child or punish his child so that they'll come to the right path? Because there's a story that Prabhupada tells that this man lived with, when he was a boy, little, he was brought up by his aunt, and she was very lenient, like way too lenient. So whatever bad thing he did, she thought nothing of it. And so what happened was he got badder and badder until he just became a murderer. And then he went to jail and he was about to be executed. So he asked for his aunt to come and see him. And so she came, and then he said, come here, like he was going to tell her a secret. And he bit her ear off. And he said, if you had been strict with me, I wouldn't be dying and you wouldn't be crying. Another analogy is given in the Jaiva Dharma, that when you want to make gold, you have to heat the ore so that the gold comes out. So it looks like something bad is happening because he's heating it, but really something good is happening. Sorry. Well, I just want to continue with this question. And another thing is, these miseries aren't really happening to us. The example is given in the 3rd canto that suppose that there was a boy who was very naughty in class, and the teacher said, like shooting shooting the rubber bands. And so the teacher says, if you don't behave yourself, I'm going to cut off your head and hang it on the wall and you'll be able to see it. So Prabhupada explains in the purport that if he's able to see his head hanging on the wall, he's got to have another head. So, and another thing regarding the hellish planets, these are not actually gross bodies. It's another type of subtle body. It's not like the one we have now, because the one we have now, they're just thoughts. But then you get covered with we'll come to it when we come to that beautiful chapter. You get covered with another subtle body, and so these things happen to you, but you can't die because it's a different kind of body. Like, for example, they'll take you, the Yamadutas, which means the constables of the god of death, will take you up to the top of a mountain and throw you down, and you break into little pieces, but you don't die. Then they put you back together and take you up to the mountain again and do the same thing. So that's one thing. It's not really happening to us, but it's to scare us into surrender. Okay. And that's after so many births of going into different species as well, like lizards and moss and so many things. Plum trees. Yes.
If Shri Krishna is trying to teach us a lesson, why don't we remember our past lives?
Okay, so Jamuna is asking, if Krishna wants to teach us a lesson, then why don't we remember the past lives where we suffered so much? Well, one thing is that's the nature of a conditioned soul. Can you remember 3 minutes ago what I said? I'm just repeating Prabhupada. Because we change bodies all the time, like in 7 years you have a completely new cell system, completely different bottom. At every second the body is changing. So as the body changes, the memory gets lost with the previous body. And Prabhupada also answered this in the third canto. At the time of dissolution of the universe, there are, and Lord Shiva does a dance, and there are 36,000 years of fire and 36,000 years of flood. And the Bhagavatam says that we've been through this so many times, if you consider that we've been in the material world rotating species since the beginning of time, which was a long time ago. We've been through the creation and annihilation many, many times in various universes. But Maya is so strong that we forget and we keep trying to enjoy. Like a person who's drunk, he's like lying in the drains and he's thinking, I'm the emperor of all I survey. And this dog comes along, and because he has salt on his body from his perspiration, the dog comes along and licks his face, and he thinks, this dog loves me. It's the nature of Maya that we forget, but Srimad Bhagavatam reminds us. Even I suffer in this life. Like a lot of people have traumas. How many have had traumatic, it's a lot, childhoods. But still we try to enjoy this body, we don't get it. So Srimad Bhagavatam reminds us. Prabhupada said you forget, and the Bhagavatam reminds you. You forget again, and Bhagavatam reminds you again. And one day, in proper association, proper services, chanting and so on, then you stop forgetting. Does that answer it? It doesn't look like it.
Well, because Shri Krishna is unlimited, he could change the nature of the world. He could change our nature, you know.
Right, Jamuna? You have to come to every single program. You can't miss one program. I don't care if you're sick. I don't care if you're dying. You have to come to all the programs. How would you like that?
Not very good.
Yeah, you wouldn't like it very good. If I say, come to all the programs if everything's well with you, if you're a little sick, and you know that if you come to the program you'll be sick all week, then no problem. So I'm leaving it up to you. In other words, I'm giving you free will. Without free will, there's no question of love. So Krishna could easily do anything, but there's no question of love without free will. Does that make sense? Nothing really makes sense to us until we get a little realized.
Yeah, I feel like there's
Huh?
a lot of things that maybe just.
I don't think it was fair that he gave us free will. If he didn't give us free will, we would be like a table.
Yeah, well, it's like I could say, counterpoint is I don't feel like I have free will to be here. I don't feel like I have free will to forget. I mean, I'm thinking of my past lives, in that regard. I don't
You
know.
mean you're forced to forget?
I feel like, yeah, I'm probably just not going to be satisfied with that's okay.
Huh? That's right. That's right. That she just said it. That Prabhupada said if we remembered our past lives, we'd go mad. If you want to read about it at length, because in the Jaiva Dharma, the disciple was asking the guru the exact same thing. If God is nice, why is he giving suffering? And it's many, many pages, so you can read about that. There's 3 chapters in Jaiva Dharma about the living entity in Maya, and then how it gets out of Maya, and those doubtful questions are asked. So the thing is that we were born into this world. What were the dualities that made us be born into this world? All living entities, Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, Haridas, can you look it up? All living entities are born into this world, overcome by the dualities of desire and hate. I desire to be Krishna, and I hate the fact that Krishna is already God. I desire to be God with my free will. Most everybody didn't come to this material world. Like most everybody isn't in jail. So the fact that we are still here and doubting and all that for all of us, is because it's from the same reason why we came here in the first place. But why did Krishna give me the free will desire to be him? If there wasn't everything, then God wouldn't be everything. So there has to be the tatastha jivas who can decide to go back to Krishna immediately as soon as we're created, and decide not to. Those who decided not to. I'm not that bad. But because of Ekupe Brahmanda Bhomite, Konya Bhagyavana Jiv, maybe it's the 9th chapter, Konya Bhagyavana Jiv, Guru Krishna Prasade Pai Bhakti Bhata Bij. After many, many millions of births of performing spiritual pious activities, knowingly or unknowingly, one gets a spiritual master, and by the mercy of the spiritual master, one gets Krishna, or Krishna manifests as the spiritual master. It's called causeless unwillingness to serve the absolute truth and all living entities. But you might like to read those chapters. Huh? What? What time is it? Oh, so with the devotees? Oh yeah, me too, actually. Just one quick question from Mother. Can't hear you. You want to come closer?
Like we all the time enjoy our senses, but how
Again, the beginning.
we like to enjoy our senses, but how but Dharma said so we have to serve Krishna for his enjoyment. But how one can develop that service attitude within us?
You already know that answer, how we can come to the service platform where we're not at all interested in our own happiness. If Krishna's happiness is to make me unhappy, that's my greatest happiness. Who said that? Lord Chaitanya in the mood of Srimati Radhika. If Krishna prefers one gopi, but she doesn't want to be with him, one other gopi, not myself, then I would go to her house and make her come to Krishna. Because if Krishna's happiness is to give me unhappiness by being with another gopi, that's my greatest happiness. So you're asking how to come to that. And you're in the process. Vaidhi Bhakti, and then Raganuga Bhakti, and then Ragamika Bhakti. In a nutshell. So now we'll end here because Vasanti has some announcements and I also have a couple. Gaur Premanande, Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Srila Gurudev ki jai, Gaur Premanande. Okay, my announcement is that okay, bye everybody. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare.